Hey guys, this is Dave. I'm here to talk about There we go. Whole microphone wasn't turned on, of course. But, anyways, we're here to talk about Dwyane Wade. He said that he might be retiring after this season, and that he said his future is basically up in the air. If you hear any background noise, it's because my dog thinks it's a good idea to bark really fucking loud all the time. Just no fucks given. But yeah, Wade said that he might retire. And while he's still with Cleveland, he was having a really rough season. Recently, though, he's been playing a decent bit better, though, I'd say. Mostly because the Miami Heat don't really have a true superstar on the roster. And although I'd still consider Wade a superstar, he's still a aging superstar. And that's very, very different from a young budding superstar, because if he was still a bit younger, he'd still be able to make a couple more plays on offense and defense, and he'd still have an even bigger impact on the game for the Heat than he's having right now. With that being said, though, Dwyane Wade has always been my absolute all-time favorite player in the NBA. Always has been. He's literally the reason I became a Heat fan way back when. And I don't know. I just always had mad respect for the guy. Always liked him as a player. And if this is his last season, I'd like to personally say thank you, Dwyane Wade, for all the hard work you've put in over the years. All the great moments you've given me personally as a Heat fan, and plenty of other Heat fans out there. Some really great moments in the finals. Definitely some good things to remember. And I don't know. Once he left Miami for Chicago, I was really heartbroken. And then when he played a little bit for the Cavs, I was also even more heartbroken, because I never liked the Cavs, but because it was LeBron, I was a little bit more okay with it, because they are best friends, and I could understand the idea of wanting to win a championship with your best friends on the greatest stage in most of sports, if not all sports. I mean, it's a pretty popular sport, basketball. With that being said, I think it might be his last season. I could see him playing like one, maybe two more seasons. But outside of that, he's definitely lost a little bit of a step. I wouldn't say he's like so old or so, whatever, to not be able to come back next season if he wanted to. He could definitely keep it going. But after a while, your body just starts to break down. And if he is going to retire, I think he would prefer to end his career on a high note than, midway through a season potentially, where he gets injured, possibly midway through the season, and just realizes it the hard way that, maybe he shouldn't be playing anymore. But yeah, I think he'll finish out this season strong, wherever the chips may fall. However he's feeling at the time is going to determine whether he comes back for another season or not. And also, how much are they going to pay him? That's a big thing too, because the Heat do not have a lot of cap space right now. Most of their cap space is locked up into the young core, or youngish core, with a lot of it going to Tyler Johnson. I don't know if you guys remembered. The reason that's the case is because Brooklyn tried to sign Tyler Johnson, and they did I forget what it was called, like a death pill kind of contract type thing, where if the Miami Heat wanted to match his contract, they'd have to pay an ass load of money just to be able to keep him. And personally, once I heard that report, I didn't think they were going to re-sign him, even though I thought he was a pretty good player. And they ended up surprising me, showing out the money and paying him. But now, unfortunately, they don't really have much cap space and economic flexibility to really get a superstar kind of player or a big contract player. So that will also be an issue going into next season. And if Dwyane Wade retires, he's also, in my opinion, one of their best players, even though he's older, because he has all that experience. And you saw it the other night if you were watching. I was not able to watch because I live in New York and I don't have NBA League Pass, but if you've been watching the news, at least recently, there was the shooting in Florida, in Parkland, and apparently the kid was such a Dwyane Wade fan, one of them, that died in the shooting, that he was buried in a Dwyane Wade jersey, and he was so moved by that kid's, fandom towards the Heat and him specifically, that on his shoes for the Philadelphia game that I predicted in the last video, he said that he actually wrote the kid's name down on his shoes in Sharpie. And the game, I was following it on my phone even though I couldn't follow it on TV. Excuse me. And he ended up hitting the game winner. So that was a really big moment, because the whole game and day he was honoring one of the kids that passed away, unfortunately, and he hit the game winner. Like, you can't really write up a story like that. I just thought that was incredible. And that's one of the many reasons why he's my favorite player. He does stuff like that all the time. And he doesn't really beef with anyone, really. The only real, scuffle or argument I've seen was last season. And going into this year, going into the year that he signs with Chicago, where him and Pat Riley were arguing about contract extension and how much they were going to pay him, how many years, and they did not want to pay him the amount that he wanted, and he felt disrespected by that, so he said, well, basically, screw you, Pat Riley. I know what I'm worth. I know my worth on an NBA team. And he went to Chicago for more money. and that ended up being a disaster. And Chicago did not play that well at all that season. And yeah, now he might be retiring, and I'd be really sad if he retires after this year. There's still a lot of young players on this team that I like, but Dwyane Wade will always hold that special place as my favorite player of all time in the NBA. So if this is your last season, Dwyane Wade, it's been a great run. First ballot Hall of Famer. And thank you for your years in Miami. This is Dave, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.